The native installer for MySQL is available from the mysql.com website at www.mysql.com/downloads. On this screen, click MySQL Community Server, and then decide which installer you're going to use. You need to know whether you're running 32 or 64-bit Windows. You need to choose the installer for your version of Windows. To find out, go to the Control Panel, and from there click System and Security, and then click System. On this screen you'll see the system type listed as either 64 or 32 bits. I'm using the 64-bit version of Windows, so that's the version of MySQL that I'll select. I'll choose the x86 64-bit MSI installer. Now I've already downloaded that to my desktop, so I'll double-click it to start it. Then I'll click Run and walk through the prompts. At the license screen, I'll read through the license, and if I agree with the terms, I'll check the checkbox and click Next. I'll choose the typical setup type, and then click Install. Along the way, you might see a User Account Control dialog box. If you see it, click Yes. You'll also see files being copied over to your hard disk, and you might see a couple of billboards or advertisements for various products sold by Oracle and MySQL. If you see these advertisements, just click Next again. The server installation happens in two phases. During this initial phase, the files are copied over to your hard disk. You'll then be asked to configure the server in a second phase. When you see the message that the initial setup is done, keep this option selected, launch the MySQL Instance Configuration Wizard, and click Finish. If you see another User Account Control dialog, click Yes, and that will take you to the Instance Configuration Wizard. Click Next, and on this screen, if this is your only copy of MySQL, choose Standard Configuration. Click Next again. On this screen, check the checkbox to include the bin directory in the Windows path. This will allow you to run the MySQL executables from the command line, regardless of where you are on the hard disk. Click Next again. On this screen, select and type in a root user password. I'll use a very simple password of just password. Type it in twice and click Next. And then finally click Execute. It'll take a few more moments to complete the installation. A configuration file is created called my.ini, and this screen shows you where that file is located on disk. Then your Windows service will be started and the security settings applied. When you see this message, your installation is complete. Click Finish, and then go to the Windows Control Panel. From there, go to the Services panel. I've typed in Services and then clicked View Local Services. And then scroll down to the M's, and you should see the new MySQL service listed. And its status should be set to Started. Now, if you have any troubles, try troubleshooting using tips from MySQL. Here's a web page that's provided in the MySQL documentation. You can search for this page by going to Google and typing in Troubleshoot MySQL Windows. You'll find multiple versions. Make sure that you're looking at the reference manual for your version of MySQL. In this document, it talks about certain problems that can occur the first time you install MySQL, including security problems having to do with the folder program data, which is created as a hidden folder under the C drive root on Windows 7. If you're working on Windows Vista or an older version of Windows, this data folder might be located under the Windows installation folder. Regardless of which version of Windows you're working on, if you have trouble, read through this document and follow its steps. On a fresh version of Windows, you should be able to troubleshoot and get your version of MySQL started before you start doing your local development.